Okay, it is 7 o'clock. Thursday, February 27th. Planning board meeting. We had 2 work sessions this week, UPS. And pathology. We want to have an opportunity to read the minutes, any adjustments, modifications.
There were adjustments made that Eric sent over, Doug had sent over the adjustment, and most importantly, Blake and Jenny were not here, and a couple of other minor. So other than that, we got it.
Okay. Approval, motion to approve the minutes. Got it. All in favor? Great. All right, we got just a bunch of approvals this meeting. So we'll go to the quick. First up, we have the Woodchuck Hill subdivision.
Good evening, I'm Paul Curtin here on behalf of the applicants, Mr. and Mrs. Sasser. They're the owners of the properties in question, and what we're doing is moving the interior lot line from one parcel to another. And the maps have been prepared, as reviewed by staff, and I think we've met all the criteria that has been required by the town.
Okay. Any other adjustments or things? Any questions for the board? All right, I will provide a motion to approve the subdivision plan dated 7/4/2024 and last revised 10/10/2024 with following findings and conditions. This is a simple subdivision of land under the code and no new lots are created. This involves movement of the lot line. The lots herein consist of a minor movement of the lot line for the convenience of each of the neighboring owners. Accordingly, and in light of this board waives public hearing requirement for subdivision as permitted by the code, where there are no new lots created and there is no public interest in the lot line adjustment. This matter is exempt from ongoing planning board review. Before this board has reviewed the SEAF submitted by the applicant dated 9/16/2024 for this unlisted action and issued a negative secret declaration for the project, finding no significant adverse environmental impacts. Number 5, applicant must file the subdivision map with the Onondaga County Clerk's Office in accordance with the rules of Onondaga County to provide a copy of the stamp filed map with the town of DeWitt, Department of Planning and Zoning. Adjustments, motion to approve. Kevin, Kathy, all in favor of it? Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Okay, next up here, the Courtyard by Marriott. Online. We have applicant online?
Yeah, oh yeah, hi, sorry. Yep, I'm here, Bridget from Charge Smart.
Great. This was the installation of 6 dual ports and 1 single port, electrical vehicle charging stations at the Courtyard by Marriott. All good on this one.
Yeah, we just made a couple revisions since the last meeting. We had to widen the parking stalls. We also added some landscaping to the panel and meter board that's close to the building, so that will be screened. And we also added a parking study. There's ample parking at this facility. We're not down parking spaces, so
Okay.
the other 2 we looked at had were pretty close, but this one.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
there was just a minor change with the sign.
Yeah. Yeah, we accidentally put the EV parking only sign, which is just usually a standard sign that we use when there is a surplus of parking, but I understand that you guys prefer that we just have a station that's non-restrictive or a sign that's non-restrictive. So we will use this sign, which is what we used for the other 2 projects that we have already gotten approval on.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, I'll provide a motion to approve the plan last dated 2/14/2025 for the installation of 6 dual port and 1 single port charging stations with the following findings and conditions. This board has reviewed the SEAF of the applicant dated 10/25/2024, finding no significant adverse environmental effects from the project, issues a negative secret declaration for the project. This board has reviewed the administrative review of the Onondaga County Planning Board dated 10/30/2024, which recommends approval. The EV parking signage in sheet A3 that reads electrical vehicles parking only unauthorized vehicles will be towed at the owner's expense and risk shall be replaced with the signage shown in or on appendix A that reads electric vehicle charging station. This is a minor modification to the existing site plan for the project, and the existing site plan is in full force and effect except as specifically modified herein. And this approval is made with the further conditions that this approval is for plans and other submitted documents, site plan documents that have been signed by the planning board chairperson and the applicant, and requires that all work shown be completed by the applicant in order for a certificate of occupancy or compliance to be issued. Any proposed changes, additions or deletions of the scope of work or materials from the site plan documents are not approved and are subject to further site plan review pursuant to Town of DeWitt Code Section 192-122. I will move to approve. Wait a second, all in favor? Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Next up, we have the auto service and sales, 6200 Thompson Road.
Hi,
Welcome.
hi. Okay, since we were here last, we can go to the next sheet. We are asked to reconfigure the parking spaces so we don't have the parallel spot in the front, and we did that by adding a couple spaces in the back. We widened that front island to make it a narrower, so it's less likely for someone to park there as well. We changed the radiuses on the curb cuts, and the DOT, accepted that as well. So they accepted everything. We provided a photometric plan and a lighting cut for 3 wall packs. That would be 1, 2, 3. That meet the town code for lighting.
Anything else?
So we needed 1, 2, 3. I think we needed 10 spaces. I may have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Any other comments from your office? Nope. Any other questions from the board?
Is there like a letter issued from DOT that just acknowledges when they accept?
It's email correspondence, basically,
Okay.
and we save that in our file. They don't really provide like a official letter.
Okay. I will provide a motion to approve the site plan dated 11/6/2024 and last revised 2/17/2025. With the following findings and conditions. This application proposes modifications to parking, entrances, access points, and landscaping in connection with their ongoing use of the property. No building changes are proposed except for the addition of homes. This board has reviewed the planning board referral of 12/4/2024, which noted the modification that New York State Department of Transportation advises work within the state right of way will require a highway work permit. Additional private use, including storage of or installation of hardscape materials or structures within the state right of way is prohibited. This board accepts this modification as a condition of this approval. This board has reviewed the SEAF of applicant dated 11/15/2024 for this unlisted action and issues a negative secret declaration for the project, finding no significant adverse environmental impacts. This board finds that in accordance with the recent NYDEC guidelines, the applicant has provided an expert assessment with respect to the potential wetlands on the property, and no actual or potential wetlands have been identified on or affecting the property. Accordingly, this site plan approval is made with the understanding that there are no New York State jurisdictional wetlands which would impact this site plan and may proceed in accordance with town procedures, with any risk of saying being that of the applicant. However, in the event the DEC should, after a full review, determine that the site plan will be impacted by jurisdictional wetlands, the applicant will need to return to the planning board for any site plan modifications that would be required. This approval is made with the further condition that this approval is for plans and other submitted documents, site plan documents that have been signed by the planning board chairperson. And the applicant requires that all the work shown be completed by the applicant in order for a certificate of occupancy or compliance to be issued. The proposed changes, additions, or deletions to the scope of work or materials from the site plan documents are not approved and are subject to further site plan review pursuant to Town of DeWitt Code Section 192-122. Kathy, second, Jenny, in favor? Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Up, we have the VIP one.
I'm Allie Henderson on behalf of CF Smith, the client. We were just needed to receive the zoning approval for the area variance, and actually I think it's just 2 area variances. Which we got Tuesday.
So no other modifications to the site plan?
Nope.
Any questions from this board? And take a look at it. We've seen this several times. All right, I'll provide the motion to approve the site plan amendment dated 1/16/2025 with the following findings and conditions. This board has reviewed on the Nutley County Planning Board Administrator referral date of 1/29/2025, wherein the county no position.
I took no position.
No position. This board has reviewed the SEIF of applicant dated 12/31/2024 for the unlisted action, issued a negative secret declaration for the project, finding no significant adverse environmental impacts. The applicant has received the variances as recommended by the planning board and granted by the ZBA dated 2/25/25. This is a modification to the site plan dated 9/5/2024, and except as specifically modified herein, the site plan dated 9/5/2024 is in full force and effect, including any conditions therein. The applicant has shown turning movements on the site provided by box size trucks maximum, and all are shown to be managed within the confines of the site. Accordingly, this approval is given with the express condition that access to the ingress and egress easement for the neighbor to the west shall not be blocked at any time, and that all truck turning movements be managed within the confines of this site. This approval was made with the further condition that this approval is for plans and other submitted documents that have been granted, that have been signed by the planning board chairperson and the applicant, and requires that all work shown be completed by the applicant in order for a certificate of occupancy or compliance to be issued. Changes, additions, or deletions to the scope of work or materials from the site plan documents are not approved and are subject to further site plan review pursuant to Town of DeWitt Code Section 192-122. Motion to approve. Jenny, second. Leif, all in favor? Unanimous, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up, Pinnacle multi-tenant building.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello, I'm Bretton Hall. I am here from Fast Signs of Syracuse, representing Pinnacle Employee Services. This is a multi-tenant sign package for Pinnacle Employee Services that they're building. Tidewater's Parkway. One of the signs will face the Empire State Trail. The other sign faces the other road. Widewaters, and then the Empire State Trail. Originally, this once many years ago, this was a building, was a single tenant building. Now it is a multi-tenant building or 2 individual LLCs of the parent umbrella corporation. These are 2 subsidiary companies, so hence the multi-tenant sign package. We had Zosmar Frisch do the architectural drawings and renderings. Amended them a couple times just to make sure they're ready for this. That,
Got it.
yeah, I hope that, it's not oversimplifying it or anything. Areas are okay.
Yep, areas are okay, they're both facing streets, so.
Yep.
There's no variances required. A very simple sign plan. This is their first kind of preliminary in front of us, but unless there are any comments.
Is the background behind the lettering, is that just for show in the presentation? It's not part of the sign display.
They're single letters, the sign.
Yeah, the brown box is just to kind of emulate the color of the building, essentially. What the sign is, they're individual letters that are illuminated. They will be affixed right where you see right there on the building.
We talked about, these are channel mounted. So there's no.
Not raceway, not raceway.
Individuals.
Yeah.
So with this, I would like to make a motion to approve this one. Unless there's any objections. Happy will second. All in favor?
Just the date of the, what's the date on there? We'll put that in the resolution, the date of the multi-tenant sign.
On your drawings, what's the date on the drawings? On the drawing. I did print them out, here looking for a moment. So you get somewhere first. 2/11.
Yeah.
2/11.
Go on 25. Much appreciated.
Thank you,
Good to go. Thank you.
appreciate it. All set? Oh, thank you all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So the next step will be a permit. So you
Go,
got to approve by the planning board and come submit the permit, we'll get that done.
thank you. Yep. Hope y'all have a good night. Appreciate your time.
You too. Next up, we have BSO Holdings. This is a one-story warehouse service bay. Skyler. Introduce yourself and give us a.
Okey-dokey. Patiently waiting now. I am Tom DeToy, I'm the architect. Working for BSO Holding. So you guys are really like, this is our concept, but since we've submitted these plans. Other people have contacted the owner, so it's gonna be bigger than we have here. But a surprise, right? So we'll have to come back before you, I think, again, because our concept's gonna change.
Yeah.
Like double in size. Yeah, sorry about the heart attack, but. 2 pages in, so we're presently, right now, we have a small trucking company, it's Warehouse Transit. We're gonna basically go with the maximum allowed size, which is 30,000 square feet, right now, we're at 6,200 and change. So we're gonna add another 24,000 square feet. Then, we're gonna add another building here for 30,000 square feet right here. Don't you love that, right? And then this is an adjacent property that the owner also owns. We're gonna regrade this one so we can put trailers on this.
There are two properties here.
There are 2 properties, yes. This is one of them right here, then this is the adjacent one, same owner right here.
Does it have access up Northern Boulevard on the left hand side?
This should have access. There's kind of like a drive access, but not quite there. There's a culvert in the ground, some.
Would you be using that for the second building?
Probably we'd use it for the second building at some point in time, this being one lot with a preliminary. Supposable demarcation here, we'll probably move it back here. Right now, everything drains this way. There's a pond over here, that's part of wetland, in the far upper corner. Yeah, the far upper corner.
Ding, ding.
Well, there's a wetland right here, it's not mine,
And on the parcel,
and on the parcel,
yeah, hold back.
the whole back.
We want to do the 30,000 building.
State wetland maps.
Oh, the new state one, so the old one I had didn't work then, the DEC people I worked with liked to do that.
Old maps aren't gonna work.
But so with that in mind, we'll have to go through whatever we need to do for the wetland area, if there needs to be remediation or if we can build it in. That's up to them to decide, so we may end up with just a small project here then. We'll see, it's up to them and the owner to make the decision if he wants to do that. So that's kind of where we're at, so it's gonna be more of a trucking company right now, what it is right now, and what he was looking at previously was adding another trucking terminal warehouse. We don't know what the thing coming on with Micron, but this was done by another company that he was dealing with or associated with, that are looking for another large trucking terminal. Just because the volumes there already. So big industrial, we're right next to UPS is down across the bottom right here. Northern Boulevard, Skyler Road, so. This will almost look like the similar thing. Don't you love it?
So you'll need to do a subdivision.
Well, we're gonna do a subdivision, you add the two lots together. But I wanna make sure he wants to do that first, because he's gone back and forth.
Do you have any intent to separate? I think you mentioned that you were gonna
Separate the bottom.
separate.
It all depends, if he does do the building and leases it, we may end up separating it at some point in time. But he may not, he's looking at lease, that's only
Taking
construction.
the property line this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one right here, that really isn't a property line, this is all one piece.
No, there is one property line that runs horizontally, right?
No. There's one that runs horizontally.
Right, so that's
These
the
are
one
two
that you would
ones.
subdivide.
Right,
those
and
two.
this one right here was at one point in time. Part of a possible subdivision where the two of them were connected together. They go back to this point in here. It's one of those, gee, I don't know yet, things. I love to ignore over
Right.
specific stuff, but this happened this past Saturday. I got a phone call going, hey, what do you think? And I'm like, the board's gonna love you guys, so.
We go down to the next. Next page, so. The reason I was asking about the subdivision is. With the plan that you have,
I have parking up above it, correct,
which would require all these, you know,
which would require us taking the parking and putting it somewhere in here versus having it there. Cause what they're looking to do is do more of a truck parking or trailer parking right there.
same thing with access through the,
Same thing with access to this area right here, but he also has, will look for a permit from the town highway department, doing access right there just for trailer. parking.
yeah, I mean, we're just gonna look for cross access easements and stuff, if they're gonna connect the two lots that way.
Right. That'd be one of our concerns there. And thank you for that. New York State wetland thing, because my map had something completely
So
different.
the first thing you should do is,
Oh, one of the DEC website, because when people that works with me from, some of the DEC or which one, so.
you put in for the parcel jurisdictional determination yet?
Not yet, but I will.
Because that's gonna take you.
I'm not doing, I have an engineer doing that stuff.
That'll take like 3 months just to get that.
3 months.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
If you're
If you're lucky,
They have like 100 days to.
I know some people there.
Good luck.
let us know if you were successful.
Well,
Yeah.
two of my coworkers used to work there, so. They know people. I like coerce them a little bit. I bring them out drinking, let's be honest, so.
And then this one building that's here.
This one building right here will get a little bit larger. And this area will get a little bit larger for service area for trucks. So we're gonna end up being 120 feet wide and 240 feet long. So right now it's 195 by 100 right here. So and it's metal frame buildings. We're up against an existing type 3 building, which is concrete block and steel beams. So we'll have to create a firewall so that we meet all the fire requirements and everything like that for area, but.
Alana, approximately where are those wetlands right now? Just,
Oh, they're all throughout here.
Yeah,
They kind of slide in through here.
they're in the back of both part of the top lot too.
Yeah.
Leah, can you look? Can I just there?
It's that last part. Right under the search bar, right behind the Zoom thing. Yep, right there. Change it from parcels to it. You forgot the U.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't see that.
Not seeing's the new thing after a while.
Stop.
See, it doesn't. Well, there you go.
So the beige is the old DEC, the teal is the.
Yeah, see, this is, I was given by the previous one.
Yeah, and then right there was the. Oh, how they're updated, but they're informational.
Yeah. So that'll be, right, and I'll contact it, yeah. Blue is the original parcel right here, and if you go look above it, there's a second parcel on top of it.
What's the? Greeny blue versus the
That's Army
browny
Corps.
and the light blue.
The field one is Army Corps, the yellow is the old DEC maps, we can turn those off, the light blue is the new DEC informational maps.
Yeah, they're really cool nowadays. Well, you have to go lot by lot now with the DEC, right?
Right.
And their maps are kind of,
In flux.
that's being generous.
I would say aspirational.
Because I found out in the 4 or 5 projects I've done downstate is that it appears that it's in a wetland, but it really ends up not being in a wetland because the actual review, they actually go through and do the location of it, so. We'll go through that and verify that also.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like there might be some water on the site. If they think it's wetland, it will be jurisdictional.
As of this past fall, the only place I found water was around this edges here and then back in the corner here, only because this is where it drains down through here. So I knew we'd have some kind of issue going on. I've worked on Skylar Road before and there's wetlands all over the place up and down it, so. It's all.
Yeah, so I would start that coordination.
So we'll get that coordination going. I'm gonna revise this and get it back to planning board people here.
The other thing to know, which was just brought up, is that, you know, from the edge of that new jurisdictional line is 100-foot buffer.
At least.
And that's the rules, at least, so they could make it 200 if they wanted.
Well, I was on a webinar today that said they only increased the size of the buffer for vernal pools and low nutrient wetlands, bogs and fence. So
So they
hopefully
probably.
we won't see too much of that.
So how much of the site's gotta be left?
No, I mean, it will definitely.
Honestly,
at least some.
I think we can max out at 80% the coverage I pull out, and that's probably what they'll do, cover it with gravel. Because that's the easiest way to do it, doing the calculations for the SWIP, I stopped my engineer because he was almost done. With gravel for most of the trailer parking areas there. And because we have basically a 5-foot pitch from Skylar Road going forward to or south to Northern Boulevard. We really don't get any water going anywhere other than being absorbed in the soils. So we don't have a lot of runoff. We don't have any runoff actually, except what comes off the roof and dry walls.
So you think you can convince DEC that it's mitigated by the gravel?
Yeah, I inspect their buildings, so. They gotta be nice to me some days.
Albany makes the decisions now. With the Portland office, it's not open.
No, Cortland makes some of the recommendations and it goes to all. There's only people there.
Well, start that coordination with them. Have the conversations based on this with your client, let us know what you want to do.
Okay, will do.
We're gonna need a wetland assessment report for this.
Okay. Get that done for you.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank
You guys
you.
are handing out approvals left and right.
Thanks, Tom.
Somewhere.
I think the newer warmer board.
We only had 5 tonight, you were number 6, so sorry.
I appreciate that.
I ran out of steam.
You didn't bring beer?
Any other business? Motion to close the meeting. We forgive the.
I held back.
Second, all
I
in
didn't
favor?
insert you right.
Jenny, second. Unanimous. Thank you very much.
Well, that's what happened to your 2-hour Tuesday meeting.
Right.
30 minutes.
Wow, that's the quickest we've ever had it.